Grammarly's 2025 State of Business Communication report shows that ineffective communications aren't just frustrating, they come with a shocking price tag. Miscommunication costs US businesses $1.2 trillion annually. That figure is supported by research from Vantage Partners, showing people lose around 7.5 hours a week just trying to course correct and re-explain past conversations. How's that for a start? Hello again. In our last video, we talked about framing, a mental exercise that helps in establishing clear boundaries on the elements of a conversation that we can actually control to avoid unnecessary anxiety. This video will cover the second pillar of my communication framework, adjusting our language to make sure our messages are precise. The main inspiration for this pillar comes from computer science. Dr. Edgar Dijkstra wrote an article years ago warning against natural language programming. In short, programming languages are designed to be unambiguous and context-free. Natural human language, however, is vague and relies on unspoken history and context. Dr. Dijkstra concluded that using vague human language to assemble systems is inefficient because computer would have to burn enormous computational power just to fill in the missing context and details our language omits. We see this today with vibe coding. While AI can speed up experts, people with vague input often end up with a proof of concept that needs substantial rework. As a designer, AI gives me the best results when I treat it as an assistant, giving it clear and concise instructions on specific tasks. If I offload large, vague chunks of work, I end up spending more time fixing the output than if I had done it myself. Digital communications leave out a lot of nonverbal context we get when talking face-to-face. This makes using vague language a direct gateway to losing that 7.5 hours a week that we mentioned earlier. To understand why, let's introduce the concept of high-context and low-context societies from Professor Erin Meyer's work. High-context societies rely on a shared history and implied meaning. Think of a long-standing task force where everybody understands acronyms and specific features by name. They expect that everyone gets it. Low-context societies, on the other hand, rely solely on words, so communications need to be explicit, direct, and recursive. There is no assumption of a shared history, even if the recipient is your friend. I have a personal example I'd like to share here. My younger son has been diagnosed with level 2 autism. He's very high-functioning, but the difference in how he perceives communication is very apparent when interacting with him. I cannot simply ask him to behave. I need to speak to him clearly about the current situation, how his behavior affects others, how he would feel if a similar situation happened to him, and finally, after all that, we can reach an agreement about how his behavior will change in specific measurable steps. This is the core point of the second pillar. When communicating digitally, we must adopt a low-context approach, even with our closest colleagues. It's important to keep the language you use as professional and unambiguous as possible. There are 3 steps that we can follow to do that. Number 1, eliminate context-dependent language. Avoid using vague time words like soon or shortly, or vague verbs like improve or align. If you're a designer, you've probably heard about using more design or make something pop. Instead, provide specific timeframes and concrete, measurable actions that point towards the expected outcome. Number 2, embrace explicit formatting. Use bold text, numbered lists, and bulleted points to ensure readability and clear transmission of the message and all of its elements. Let the format do the heavy lifting of context. And number 3, reduce acronyms and jargon. Both of these are high-context shortcuts that can be damaging for multidisciplinary or multicultural teams that don't share the same topic experience or internal vocabulary. Applying these points to your communications is sure to help in making your messages clearer and avoid wasting unnecessary time and money on course correcting and re-explaining past conversations. Summing up, being clear and precise when communicating saves time, reduces costs, and prevents stress for everyone included. Not only that, it's an act of professionalism and it shows you respect the time of your friends and colleagues. When we compound this precision with framing, our previous pillar, we get an explicit and transparent framework for communications. But it can sometimes come off as overly cold and robotic. To tie it all together and bring humanity back into the mix, on the next video we'll be introducing the third and final pillar, redefining digital empathy. Digital empathy is my favorite part of the framework, so to hear more about it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out for the next video. If you want to take a look at the information sources used for this script, take a look at the video description. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. I truly appreciate it. For the time being, stay creative and stay creating.